Hey guys, so we are here today to talk about Amanda Ensing again. If you missed my first video, I already have a video on Amanda Ensing up. I filmed it back in November when she came out as a Trump supporter and started spreading right-wing propaganda to her audience. I know a lot of people didn't cover that because it's pretty clear that Amanda is looking for attention, and sometimes it's best to deprive these people of attention, but at the same time, I think not a lot of people talking about it doesn't really help, because then a lot of people aren't informed. And that's kind of the same thing that happened with this situation. I went back and forth about whether or not to film a video on this, but when it comes down to it, a lot of people aren't on beauty Twitter. A lot of people don't know what's going on with every single influencer. I mean, there are just so many influencers and so much fucking drama happening on YouTube that it's hard to keep track. And I think that, I see a lot of influencers say, like, not about this situation, but like say like, I'm not actually gonna support X brand, do your own research. But I think having influencers speak about it and having, I'm not an influencer, but having YouTube videos about it is how people do research now. And like, I shouldn't have to go dig through Twitter threads to try to find the research. It needs to be readily available. I haven't seen a lot of videos about this topic, and so I think it's important, because if she was just doing more Trump right-wing rhetoric, I would probably have just moved on, but we are going heavy into racism and the idea that she is some sort of victim here, and so I just wanted to talk about it because, like I said, I don't think there's a lot of videos out there about it, and I think that people need to be knowledgeable. And also, I had a lot of people commenting on my first video that, I was supporting cancel culture, my video was toxic, and supporting Trump isn't homophobic or racist. So we're gonna get into it today and talk about what happened between Amanda Ensing and basically the beauty community. Jackie Ina, Alyssa Ashley, Makeup by Shayla, and Gabriel Zamora all kind of came for her, among many other people, but coincidentally, the only people that Amanda Ensing clapped back at were the prominent Black influencers, which we will discuss. Before getting into this video, subscribe to my channel, up every Tuesday and Thursday, and you should stick around because we rant about things and talk about makeup and hair. So to preface this, Amanda Ensing came out as a Trump supporter. She's been posting like this shit about Trump being president still in 2021, and just like all of your typical right-wing bullshit. In her original video, she talked about how, she didn't just come out as a Trump supporter, she was really condescending and talking about, like, she was kind of saying, like, if you don't follow Trump, you don't follow God, which I think is really condescending to other Christians. And, like, I'm not religious at all, I'm an atheist, so I think that, I said in my first video, I think if Jesus was alive today, he probably wouldn't be a Trump supporter. Just thoughts. Pretty sure he liked, like, helping the hungry and, like, the impoverished, and thought everyone should be equal. I think that was kind of like his gist. I mean, I'm not Christian, I don't know, but that's kind of what I gathered. But basically, she was being really condescending in that video, and she was talking about how, like, the left media is brainwashing people, and she left educational links down below, and they were all TikToks, or like Candace Owens' Facebook page, or like Ben Shapiro's Facebook page. And like, first of all, Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens are the mainstream media. Just because people hate Fox News does not make them not the mainstream media. But anyway, so people were like coming for her, and she's been posting like fucking, like literally on Christmas Day, she posted a picture of her and her husband in Trump merch. Like, do I call it merch? I don't know what to call it. In Trump merch, and basically was like posted some post about how, like, I'm sure she was called liberals, snowflakes, or sheeps or something. And it's just like, I saw Earthmother did a video about that post, and was like, and she's Christian, so she was like, really, on Jesus's birthday, you're focused on supporting Trump? That's interesting. I think there's a whole thing about false idols and whatnot. But this all kind of came to a head on the day of, I'm going to call it the day of insurrection in America on January 6th. I would like to call it what it really is, which is domestic T word, but I think that'll get me demonetized. So we'll call it insurgents, because that's what everyone else is calling it. So basically, Donald Trump led an insurgence in America, and people were trying to overthrow the Electoral College and, like, literally trying to hang Mike Pence and probably kill members of Congress. I am terrified to think what would have happened if they would have gotten a hold of like Nancy Pelosi or AOC. There are images of people who are literally with zip ties, like handcuffed zip ties in full tactical gear. We won't even really touch on what would have happened if that was not a white mob. If you want to hear more about that, go watch that As Told by Kenya's video on this. She touches on that, and it's from a Black perspective, which I think is more important than my white perspective, but I think we all know what would have happened. We all saw what happened during the Black Lives Matter protests, and I know people are like, don't compare the two, and I agree, because the Black Lives Matter protests were peaceful protests, and this was a riot, a mob, insurgents. These were T words. I know we have a hard time calling white people that, but that's what they were. And if that mob had been Black people, they would have been shot, hands down. So when this all started, Amanda Ensing tweeted, "There's not enough popcorn in the world for what's about to happen." And this was at 2:55 p.m. on January 6th, which is literally when everyone started kind of paying attention to what was happening. And we were like, I was literally glued to my Twitter feed. I'm Canadian, if you didn't know, but I'm still, like, as a Canadian, most Canadians are pretty knowledgeable of American politics. It's much more interesting than ours. And then about, like, I think it was like an hour later, she posted, "This is referring to the amount of corruption about to be revealed in our government. As usual, the left twists our words." But, like, there's literally an insurgence happening at the Capitol. People are, like, breaking into the Capitol, and you're tweeting about how popcorn, about how, like, entertained you are. So Gabriel Zamora tweeted her and said, "Is this entertainment to you? I'm embarrassed for you." And she tweeted some shit about sucking up to Jeffree Star and basically retweeted some post about Joe Biden being a pedophile from a not reputable news source called, like, the National File. And then she said, "The left, I hate it here. America is embarrassing. Only we can riot and loot. Defund the police. Just do what the government tells you and don't ask questions. The right. Let's fight for freedom. We love the USA. Defend the Constitution. We support our military and law enforcement." Which is like, I have to add a little asterisk to the end of that, because literally what we were watching on the news was the right attacking police officers. They were pushing past police officers. They were attacking them. They were, like, fighting them. I don't know about you, but that didn't show supporting the police to me. I mean, there were many police officers who were just letting them into the building, but that's a whole other story. And also, like, this post, you're basically, like, she posted other stuff about how, like, we can have differences of opinions and this isn't about Trump, but, like, you literally just said the left, just do what the government tells you and don't ask questions, which is hilarious, because the left is the one that's, like, protesting for literal changes at government levels to defund the police and to, like, first of all, we're asking you to defund you can't say defund the police and then just do what the government tells you, because the government tells us we need police and we said no. So I think that she's a little backwards on that. And again, there's a difference between a peaceful protest and trying to have change at higher levels, and rioting and storming the Capitol. She also posted a picture of the Capitol with a lot of people there and said, "Still think Biden won." No one can confirm whether or not this is a real picture. I haven't heard anyone able to confirm it. Some people have said it's an old picture, but either way, lots of people gathering at one place is not how elections are determined. So Makeup by Shayla replied and said, "People showing up at the Capitol doesn't mean he won. Just like you curling your hair and tanning your skin doesn't mean you're mixed." And here's the thing. I will insert some images here of what Amanda Ensing used to look like and what she looks like now. Amanda Ensing has been accused of blackfishing, and there's some tweets from Jackie Aina in here that will show you a little bit more context to why that may be happening. But Amanda Ensing has been accused of blackfishing. She does not look, now she is Puerto Rican. I don't know, like, I think she's still, like, technically like a white Puerto Rican. I don't know, so I'm not gonna say anything about that, but either way, she's trying to look exotic, ambiguous, like every white blackfishing influencer is trying to do. Like, it's very clear she's trying to look ambiguous. Sis, your foundation shade is too dark. Amanda Ensing tweets back, "It's the anti-racist party," which I don't, "being racist and telling POC they aren't POC if they don't vote Democrat for me," which, just so you know, no one said that you're not POC because you don't vote Democrat. They said you're not POC because you're trying to look mixed when you're not. And then she replied again and said, at Makeup by Shayla, what's your degree in again? And like, here's where the racism comes out. First of all, to assume that a black woman doesn't have a degree is racist. To try to degrade a black woman for not having a degree, which maybe she doesn't have, I don't know Makeup by Shayla's educational history, but that's racist. This assumption that because she's black, she's uneducated is racist. And I hate to break it to you, Amanda, but you have a degree in poli-sci, and based on your fucking political opinions, it's pretty clear your fucking degree does not make you smart. If you have a poli-sci degree and you're citing TikToks and right-wing rhetoric and you're not checking your sources, then your degree doesn't mean shit. Like I said in my first video, having a degree doesn't make you smart. I went to university. We all went to university with people that were like, really? You're gonna get the same degree as me? That's embarrassing for me. Because just because you got a degree does not mean you're smart. Just because you can follow rules and write an essay does not mean you're smart. I hate to break it to you, but intelligence should not be based on degrees. That's some weird, like, North American thing that we've all just succumbed to, that you need a degree to be smart, but it literally doesn't mean jack shit. There are many classes I learned nothing from in university, and even besides that point, like, don't question a black woman's intelligence because she doesn't have a degree. That's fucking, it's just racist. It's racist straight up. I have no other words for that. So Jackie Aina replied to Amanda's tweet about the left versus the right and said, defund Amanda Ensing, and then put in, replied and said, Esther Ensing. If you know the Esther Ensing story, I don't know what the real story is, but Esther is a character in the Bible who, like, I think saves the Jews. And so Amanda has started calling herself Esther. Like, she's said, like, first of all, I don't think comparing yourself to someone in the Bible is like what Jesus is about. But regardless, little sus. Like, she literally came for Manny because he called her Esther, like, just off the cuff in a comment, and she was like, acted like the people were attacking her religion. Like, no, bitch, we're attacking you because the fact that you're comparing yourself to someone in the Bible is stupid. And then Amanda replied and said, no one is hated more than the one who tells the truth. Question, did you ever end up paying your taxes? Once again, racist rhetoric directed towards a black woman. You're racist. I'm sorry. If you subscribe to racist rhetoric, if you throw these accusations at black women, you're racist. The reason this rumor was started, if you don't know, was because Jeffree Star is the one that started it back when Jackie Aina anti-hauled him in one of her videos. It's where their whole beef started years ago. And he started the rumor that she doesn't pay her taxes, which, by the way, is racist, and we shouldn't be surprised, because if you haven't kept up, Jeffree Star is the most racist person on YouTube to still have a platform. And so it's not surprising that he's racist, and he started this racist rhetoric. And for Amanda Ensing to dig up this racist rhetoric and throw it back at Jackie Aina, first of all, it just means you have nothing else to fucking say. If you have nothing of merit to say, you go to racism. That's how I know you're stupid. Because smart people don't need to go to racism and homophobia and transphobia and whatever else to get their point across. They can do it like an intellectual person and actually have a conversation and actually have a coherent thought, but you don't have a coherent thought. You don't have anything to back up your lies and slander. So instead you just throw out these racist ideologies at Jackie Aina. Like, literally go fuck yourself. And also the fact that other people were engaging in conversation with Amanda Ensing. Beauty YouTube was not impressed with her, and I didn't see her replying to any of the white people. I didn't see her cutting down white influencers. It was just black women she was replying to, and that is pretty fucking clear. And then Alyssa Ashley went off, and like, we stan. Alyssa said, I love how what you said to both Shayla and Jackie came from the mouth of a fucking racist. Go stick to your TikTok sources, you weak ass bitch. You would not have this energy at all if this was in person, and you know that. Like, let's be real, you're not gonna say that to Jackie or Shayla in person. People who talk big on the internet are always pussies in real life. I really hate the term pussy because, like, let's be real, what's weaker, pussies or dicks? Dicks, but regardless. She said, if you choose to respond to me, I'm begging you to make sure it's something you will say to me in person, because the second shit reopens, I'll make sure that you do. Jackie came back and checked the fact that it's the whole, like, it's the anti-racist party being racist, and Jackie was like, this is AAVE. If you don't know what AAVE is, it's African American Vernacular English. It used to be called Ebonics, and it's just basically like the idea that they have their own language. I mean, a lot of what people call internet culture or internet slang, which could be a whole other conversation, is AAVE. We as white people just see it online and then adopt it and ruin it. like Amanda Ensing, who says it's the for me, like literally in every fucking tweet, like, ma'am, you've ruined it. You've ruined it, it's over. And then Amanda came back to Jackie and said, if you're gonna call me Esther, capitalize the E, don't you have a Bible verse in your YouTube description bar? Which, like, and then this is where some tea comes out. Jackie said, how would you know this? You've been taking notes? Because I specifically remember you to my face telling me on a brand trip how you weren't making money anymore because you were too white for brands and girls like me were getting all the deals. Could you imagine sitting with a black woman and saying, wow, I can't believe black women are taking all of the deals, when white people are white people clearly dominate YouTube. They especially dominate the beauty community. And like, white people are obviously making more money and getting more deals than black people in this industry. It's just the way it is. There is literally a wage gap for a reason, and that doesn't just apply between men and women, it applies between races as well. And we all see which influencers are getting picked for deals, and there's a lot of white ones. So Jackie goes on to say, the crazy thing is when she said this to me, it wasn't even true. Which, like, of course not. Girls like me weren't getting all the deals, and white influencers were, and still are, paid much higher than we are. I said this to her, but it went in one ear and out the other. This was years ago, and I forgot she even said it until recently, which someone did note. I watched Smokey Glow's video, and she noted in there that Jackie did tweet about this when it originally happened, but she didn't out the person. So it's not like Jackie's just, first of all, I don't think, like, why would Jackie make this up? Like, this doesn't benefit Jackie at all. And like, I trust Jackie, other than like her weird scandal with Paige, I can't remember her name, the T channel Paige. Other than that, she's been pretty open and honest and has not been in any drama, except for when Jeffree Star was attacking her for no reason. But that's besides the point. So like, why would she make this up? But just to be clear, there is proof that she spoke about this before, and just now she's confirming that it was Amanda Ensing. I don't always feel the need to air out every encounter. I have influencers because guess what? We all work with people we don't like. And then Alyssa Ashley replied and says, yeah, that's when she decided to suddenly become a mixed chick. And Jackie came back and confirmed and was like, I just had this aha moment recently. So if you go back and look at Amanda Ensing's old content, she looks white. She's white, blonde hair. She had dark hair at some points because I think her hair is naturally dark, but she did have blonde hair for a while, and she looked like a white girl. She looked like me, pasty white, like this white. And then all of a sudden she slowly started tanning and becoming what we saw on Instagram and on YouTube heavily, which is looking mixed. And it's pretty clear, like, this conversation just proves that what she was trying to do. Like, this is proof to me that she was trying to blackfish, that she was trying to look more racially ambiguous so that she could get more deals or get more popular, because people love racially ambiguous girls. And you know, everyone wants to be black without having to actually experience what being black is like. She can sit here and like pretend to be black for the views and the money, but then turn around and spit racism at black women because she doesn't actually have to deal with the repercussions of what it's like to have racism spewed at you. And then like Amanda came back to Ashley and was Alyssa Ashley and said, I'd love to meet up. People aren't racist because they don't vote like you. The anger and derangement from the left is at an all-time high. People aren't racist necessarily when they vote Republican, but in this election, if you voted for Donald Trump, you're racist. I have no problem saying that. I don't believe in reaching across the aisle, especially not right now when Donald Trump literally has a Muslim ban. He literally didn't help when the George Floyd protests were going on. He maced a group of peaceful protesters so he could hold a Bible upside down and have a photo op. So it's pretty clear to me that Donald Trump is racist, and that is not including the fact that he called, you know, African countries shithole countries and everything else he's done. There's a fucking list. If you want to figure it out, Google it. If you're confused about whether or not Donald Trump is racist, he is. Google it. So no, people necessarily aren't racist because they vote differently than you, but if you voted for Donald Trump, you are racist because you decided that racism wasn't really a deal breaker for you. And if you are tolerant to racists, you're a racist. You are propping up a racist, which means that you are supporting racism, so you're racist. Did you catch all that? Jackie said, meet up and do what? She's not gonna let you use her foundation, which is another dig about her being mixed. And then on top, while this is all going down, she literally tweeted about the Do You Need a Hug at 6:22 p.m. and then at 6:29 p.m. she posts a video of her at a gun range and says, "A woman who supports Second Amendment rights," and then posts, I think she replied to that and said, like, "You don't have rights if you, there are no other rights if you can't defend them." And like, just the idea that you're fighting with 3 Black women on Twitter with racist rhetoric, and then right after that you post a video of you with a gun. Like, if that's not supposed to be a threat, you might want to check yourself, because it sure came across as one. And that is what happened with Amanda Ensing this weekend. Hannah from Smoky Glow put up a great video about it, about how Amanda Ensing is a victim, is playing the victim, and how she's not actually a victim, because which I totally agree with, people on the right get really hung up on freedom of speech and say, like, I have the right to say whatever I want, and like, you have that right, but that right protects you from the government, not from general society. You have the right to be an idiot and have a stupid fucking opinion, but and also you have that right, but you have a job where your job is based on millions of people supporting you, and you don't have the right for those people to support you if you have shitty opinions. Like, you have the right from prosecution for your opinion, but you don't have the right from the judgment of your peers and of society. That's not what the First Amendment right does for you. The First Amendment right gives me the right, I'm in Canada, so it's not the First Amendment right here, but whatever. Gives me the right to sit on YouTube and say your opinions are fucking stupid and I think you're racist, but doesn't give you the right, like, you could tell me I'm a fucking cunt for it. You could sit in my comments. I'm sure people will be in my comments telling me that Amanda Ensing is fine and that supporting Trump isn't racist. I'm sure the Trumpies will come for me. They came for my last video and I'm fine with that. But your First Amendment right does not mean that people can't tell you that your opinion is stupid, and it does not mean that people can't hold you accountable for having those opinions. It's very different. And I just wanted to put this video out here because, again, this all went down on Twitter, and there weren't a lot of videos about it on YouTube. I know it's a heavy topic to cover, but I think it's important. You know, I find that, like, when I talk about stuff on my channel, I like to talk about stuff that not a lot of other people are talking about, because I think that a large way that people do their own research in 2021, 2020, whatever year we're in, is through YouTube videos. Like, people don't want to read anymore. I want to watch a YouTube video and listen to a podcast, you know. It's the digital age. People want to watch videos, and if there's not a lot of videos out there, there's not a lot of information for people to absorb, and I think it should be easy for people to do their own research, and so that's why I'm making this video. So to everyone who commented on my last video that I shouldn't hate Amanda Ensing because she's a Trump supporter, okay, well, I hate her because she's racist, and I don't think that people should be supporting someone who is racist, someone who outwardly attacked 3 of the largest Black beauty content creators on this platform for no reason and spewed racist rhetoric at them. You know, I personally am a liberal snowflake who I don't have time for Republicans. I'm sorry, I just don't. Like, I know that some people can see both sides, but I just don't think there's both sides when one side is homophobic, transphobic, racist, Islamophobic, sexist, and everything in between. There were literal Nazis at that riot, people with Camp Auschwitz shirts, people with Nazi flags, with Confederate flags. We all know what the Confederation was for. So it's very clear that if you can't see the racism, I can't help you. You need laser correction surgery or glasses. And that is, I guess, where I'm leaving this. Part of me wonders, like, I heard some people say that Amanda Ensing just did this for the attention, that she was just trolling, but I don't think she's trolling. I knew that her husband was a Trump supporter, and so I just think that she became a Trump supporter and fell right into that rabbit hole of the right-wing media and ate it all up and is getting her news from TikTok. And what happened in America on January 6th was not funny. It was not a fight for rights. It was a insurrection that was egged on by the President of the United States because he said that the election was rigged, and that's bullshit. It's a lie that he fed to the American people, that he fed to his base, and that many Republicans engaged with and encouraged, and that's scary and not okay and fucking bullshit, if I may be frank. So if you support any of those Republicans, if you don't support impeaching Trump, we have nothing to say here. We don't have any conversation to have because I think he needs to go. He needs to be impeached, and people need to stop supporting Amanda Ensing because hopefully this is the last video I will have to do about her. I don't want to talk about her anymore. I don't want to talk about her weird Trumpiness, but I think that this needs to be put out there because she has displayed very clear racist mentality against 3 major Black women in the community, and we need to hold her accountable. This isn't about cancel culture or toxicity. This is about holding people accountable for their problematic views. I'm sorry, but if you're racist, I don't think people should support you, and I don't think you should have a platform on YouTube. I know her channel is dying. She's getting like no views, but still like 20,000 people are watching every video, and that's more than 0. So that's where I'll end this video. Let me know down below what you think. Am I crazy? Are you surprised by any of this? Did you see this? I know this is a very like Twitter specific thing and a lot of people aren't on Twitter. So I just kind of wanted to make this video for people who aren't on Twitter so that you can stay informed, know what's going on, and support people who share the same beliefs as you. So thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.